In today's video, we're going to be rationalizing surds in the denominator. Okay? So let's look at the first example. This example says write 3 divided by the square root of 5 in this form here. Okay? So what we need to do essentially here is we need to rationalize the denominator. What we mean by rationalizing is we need to get rid of the square root in the denominator. Okay? So let's see, we have 3 over the square root of 5. Now, in order to get rid of the square root in the denominator, what we need to do is we need to multiply each term of this fraction by the denominator. So in this case, we need to multiply each term by the square root of 5. So what we get is 3 times the square root of 5, and then square root of 5 times square root of 5. Okay? And then we solve the multiplication. So 3 times the square root of 5, we can rewrite as 3 times square root of 5, basically, over, and then we have square root of 5 times square root of 5. Now, I've already done a video on rules of powers, so make sure to check it out if you're not sure. But what we can do here is, so the square root of 5, we can rewrite as 5 to the power of 1/2. Okay? And same goes for this one. Square root of 5 is the same as 5 to the power of 1/2. And both these terms are multiplying. So when you multiply the same number with powers, what you can do is you can sum the powers. So if this is equal to 5 to the power of 1/2 plus 1/2. A half plus a half is 1. So we get 5 to the power of 1, which is simply 5. Okay? So we can rewrite this as, so square root of 5 times square root of 5 is simply equal to 5. Okay? And so here we have the form that they asked us in the exercise. Okay? Excellent. Right. Let's look at another example. This second example says write 2 over 2 plus square root of 3 in this form here, where a and b are integers. Okay. So as you can see here, this is a bit more complicated, right? Because the square root that's in the denominator isn't just by itself. There's also a number in front of it. Okay. So we have 2 plus the square root of 3. So let's see how we can deal with that. So when we're confronted with this scenario, what we need to do is we need to multiply each term by the denominator, but we need to change the sign. So this means that the 2 we need to multiply by 2 minus the square root of 3. Okay? And same goes for the other term. So this denominator we need to multiply by itself, but changing the sign. So 2 minus the square root of 3. Okay? So let's solve this. First we have a single bracket, so we have 2 times 2. So here we need to multiply this 2 by each term inside the bracket. So 2 times 2 is 4. And 2 times minus square root of 3 is minus 2 square root of 3. Okay? And then over, and then here we need to expand these double brackets. Now, I've already made a video on how to expand double brackets and single brackets, so make sure to go check them out if you're not sure how to do this. So here we're confronted with this double brackets. So we need to expand, right? So the first term in the first bracket, we multiply by each term inside the second bracket. And the second term in the first bracket, we do the same. We multiply by each term inside the second bracket. So first 2 times 2, 4. Then 2 times minus square root of 3, we get minus 2 square root of 3. Then square root of 3, the second term, times 2 is simply plus 2 square root of 3. Okay? And then we have square root of 3 times square root of minus 3. Okay? So again, remember what we did in the last example, right? With square root times the square root. Okay? So here again, we have the same thing, right? We have square root of 3 times square root of minus 3. So again, this is simply going to be equal to minus 3, okay? Now let me just show you so it's a bit clearer. We have square root of 3 times minus square root of 3. Now we said we can rewrite this as 3 to the power of a half times minus 3 to the power of a half. And then we get minus 3 and we can sum the powers. A half plus a half. A half plus a half is 1, so we get minus 3. Okay, so as you can see here, minus 2 square root of 3 plus 2 square root of 3, this is equal to 0, right? So we can get rid of this. And then we're left with 4 minus 3. So 4 minus 3 is simply 1. So then we have 1 in the denominator. Then we know that anything divided by 1 is simply itself. So in this case, we can rewrite this as 4 minus 2 square root of 3. Okay? And so we've achieved the form that they asked us in the exercise. So that'll be all for today's video. Let me know down in the comments if you have any questions, and I'll be happy to answer them.